Hey friends, Tim Sure here. So I wanted to share with you some of the secrets of building strong, trusting relationships real quick, because you've probably heard before that the key to creating success in business is cultivating trusting relationships. And it is so true. And I have a philosophy that you should create friends everywhere you go, because you just never know who that next person is going to be that opens a door for you, that becomes a really close friend, that is someone that you can add value for. Because remember, when you're building relationships, it's not just what you're going to get out of it, it's what others are going to get out of it from knowing you. And that's what I think about. I don't focus on what am I going to get, I focus on how can I give, how can I serve. I often play a game with friends, whether they know I'm playing the game or not. It's how can I serve you best, and who's going to help each other the most, and I'm going to win, right? And I love doing that. And so I've opened the doors for a lot of my friends to meet people that they always wanted to meet, or to have experiences, or to get access to stuff that maybe they're having a difficult time getting access to, because I know how much that means to me when somebody does that for me. So I notice I have a little Tim standing over me now. But anyway, so that's my inner wisdom, always standing over me saying, you got this, believe in yourself, you're awesome, I love you, you're the best, you can do this, you are safe, you are good, keep adding value, you're already enough, you don't have to prove it. Everybody should have an inner voice like that, coming from themselves instead of trying to get that from everybody else. So back to relationships. So I do a lot of podcasts. It's just amazing how you can talk to amazing people all over the world. So in the last 2 days, I did a podcast in Scotland. I was up early doing one in the Scotland. I did one in Romania, and then I did one in Scotland, Romania, oh, in New Zealand with Susan and the health detective. And so that was really fun, because now you're meeting friends from around the world. And so if I ever travel somewhere, I have friends that I can say, hey, I'm in town, show me around. And that's pretty extraordinary. So, and I've done that by getting on their show and then complimenting them, appreciating them, telling their listeners to subscribe and how awesome they are, giving them free gifts. And just really, anytime I'm on a show with somebody, my goal is to make that person who's interviewing me look smart, awesome, amazing, like they have the best podcast on earth, and make them feel special. Because at the end of the day, we want that feeling. We want to feel validated. We want to feel appreciated or acknowledged for all the hard work that we do, for all the struggle, for all the uncertainty, for all the stuff that we're constantly dealing with and managing. And everybody has those challenges. And so it's nice to hear a thank you or a compliment or get a pat on the back. And so every chance you get to give a compliment, do that. So I'm also always networking. Yesterday, I actually went to my first live networking event actually, it was my second one, but it was in Beverly Hills, California. And that was awesome. I'm a chamber member there, and I just met so many really amazing people, and so many cool stories of what they're doing. There's one guy that's fabric out um, fabricating houses using a 3D printer. He can build an entire house in a day, which is extraordinary. And other people that were in top realtors, or that were big top executives in banks, and and things like that, mortgage brokers, and but it wasn't just what they did. I wanted to learn about their kids. I wanted to learn about what was the coolest adventure that they ever had. There's this one guy that was telling me about how in the 90s he had the opportunity to go around Alaska in a Russian nuclear sub, because it was their economy was falling apart, and people had the ability to. I mean, Russians were saying, "Hey, you got American money, let's work together." And so he had this opportunity to have that experience on a nuclear submarine, right? And that's a wild story. I thought I was one of the coolest people in the room being a hypnotist, but this guy was the coolest guy in the room, and I told him that, right? And that makes people appreciate you. I was asking people about not, oh, you're the vice president of this big fancy company. You think you can bring me in for training? That'll come later. What I was wanting to do is get to know if we liked each other, right? And I wanted to create a friend, so I'm asking about their kids. I'm asking about what they're into, what they enjoy doing most. I want to give you a really cool exercise that you can use as well to figure out what people value. This is huge, so pay attention and write this down. It's a 5-question strategy, and it goes like this. So, what's most important to you about being at this event tonight? Right? Or what's most important to you about your career? Or what's most important to you about your family? Whatever the environment is where you meet someone, so what's most important to you? Why'd you come out here? What were you hoping to accomplish? And then whatever they tell you, you make a mental note of it, and then you ask them, what else? Because then it causes them to dig a little deeper, and nobody ever feels like they're being grilled. It just feels like, wow, you're paying attention to me, giving me your time, asking me these cool questions. That's awesome. Because usually it's like, hi, what do you do? This is what I do. Right? So instead, so what's most important to you about being in real estate? And then I'll say, what else? What else? What else? I'll ask that second question 3 times. And they go, huh. And then they start going in and they start thinking about it. I've done this 1,000 times. Nobody ever says, why are you asking me all these questions? People just start going in and thinking about it. So they might say, well, I love to meet new people and I love the personal growth and it allows me to provide for my family. And, and so you're looking for 4 of them. And I don't know, I guess it just makes me feel like I've got to always be out there and expanding myself, and pushing my limits. And then the last question is, out of all of those, what would you say is number 1 most important? And then whatever it is, that's their driving value. That's the most, all of these are values: family, growth, being around cool people. And then maybe the 4th one was, really growing myself. And then, so whatever they tell you, some people say, well, it's really providing for my family. I love my family. Now you know that their family is most important to them. Or they might say, well, it's really pushing myself and growing to be the best that I can be. Now they still love their family. They still love meeting people. They still love providing and making money. But what really drives them the most is that personal growth. And now I know that about them. So it's a values elicitation strategy that's so unique. Nobody else is doing it. So if you do it, you're going to stand out. And within a couple of minutes, their top 4 driving values. So let's use this example. So if I want to connect with them and I'm like, I've got these programs, this one belief away program. And what it does is it helps you to be able to become your best self in a way that you never thought of before. It upgrades your subconscious programming. The beliefs that were formed in your mind when you were growing up that you don't even know are there. We call them unconscious beliefs and biases. And if you ever feel stuck or you're procrastinating or you're feeling too stressed out or you feel like you're pushing really hard and it's not working, or you feel like you're stuck and bottlenecked in your job because you have to solve the most difficult challenges and no one else can do it, and it's just creating a lot of stress in your life, and so you're turning to food, or you're turning to alcohol, or you're turning to smoking or pot or something else, and or anti-anxiety medicine, and it's not working, it's just making you worse. I've got a program that will help you push past that so that you can grow and become your best. And then when you're being your best, it just allows you to provide for your family more. It allows you to be able to connect with and grow stronger, deeper relationships with other amazing people. And it's all about personal growth. So would that be something that you're interested in? I can share a little bit more with you. What do you think they're going to say? They're going to say, yes, that sounds amazing. Of course it does, because I just fed their values in the order that they gave it to me with their number 1 driving value first. I just blended it in with my offer. And so, and it's honest and it's full of integrity because everything I said is true. And I got to know them. It's just that my approaches get results like almost instantly. And that's really what separates me from just about anybody else out there, is my ability to get results like right now. Most of my clients, we turn things around within that first 30 minutes of our first session, right? That's how fast it is. When I'm working with a company and a team, I go in there and I change my approach so that I'm upgrading 1 negative limiting belief from each person that's at that table. And when you remove 1 limiting belief from each person on your team, it creates exponential growth that's sustainable over time. The ROIs are massive. And that's just from one session. Usually I do multiple session programs with companies. And so that's why the results are so amazing. And so when I'm doing this in networking, instead of walking back with 20 business cards that I don't know what to do with, I've made 5 really good friends that I know about their family. I know about their driving desires. I know about their best adventures. I've created a connection with them, an emotional connection. And now I can go back and strengthen that relationship and figure out how I can serve and give and make them feel like, wow, I don't know anybody like this Tim guy. and, uh, and then when I call, they answer the phone, right? And these are people that have 20 gatekeepers in front of them. So these are some of the things that I do when I'm building relationships, and it comes from love. It comes from being genuine. So these are not manipulation strategies, because people will see through that and it's yucky and it's bad energy. And if you have to manipulate, then you're going to get manipulated, because that's the energy you're putting out. But when you're putting out love and you're putting out peace and you're putting out wisdom, then you're going to draw love and peace and wisdom back into you. One of the best phrases I ever heard came from my father-in-law, Denny. And, he saw the work that I'm doing with veterans. And he says, you're going to change so many lives. And he says, one day those guys are going to turn around and he said, not say, I can't remember what I said now. I didn't get much sleep last night. He said, you're changing so many of those guys' lives that one day they're going to turn around and they're going to change yours. And I was like, ooh, that's good. That's really good. Because I wasn't thinking it in that way, but it gave me like the tingles, right? Because I'm like, wow, that's true. I mean, oh, gosh, one of my favorite mentors, Zig Ziglar, the late great Zig, he said, you help enough other people get what they want, they'll put you on their shoulders and they'll carry you to whatever it is that you want, right? So let's do that. Let's be givers. As my pal Bob Berg always says, be a go-giver and come from a place of love. Focus on giving and being a great friend to more people, and they will return the favor. All right, have fun. Thanks.